Welcome everybody to the Breachers VRML Season 1, Week 12. My name is Nightfire with two E's. I am joined by my co-caster Gibular Bob in today's journey into the top tier of Breachers, Aspect versus Indomitable. Bob, this should be a pretty exciting matchup this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. You got 2 versus 5 here. Both these teams are in that gunskin range, and they're shooting for it here. So we'll see who can win. Aspect are a tough team. They're the only team this season that's beaten Acer, the number 1, and they tied Acer second time. They've never actually lost to Acer, and they beat some other pretty tough teams. So I'm curious to see what Indomitable is going to do tonight.
Yep, it is a matchup with a lot of eyes on it this afternoon. 30 votes for us to jump in and cast this one. 56 connoisseur votes into the favor of Aspect with 10 to Indomitable. So certainly a underdog story this afternoon for the Indomitable squad. But they've managed to overcome those underdog stories in the past, right, Bob? If anything, they have a history of it at this stage.
I mean, if you were here with us last week in the VRML, we saw Indomitable versus Formula 3, a match that was 66 votes Formula 3, 6 to Indomitable, and Indomitable actually pulled a win out of that match. It was a tremendous upset, and one that really put them up there in the standings. So this is clearly a team that can play very well. They beat Formula 3, so let's see if they can beat Aspect tonight.
Let's see indeed, as we dive into round number 1 of Aspect versus Indomitable this afternoon. Definitely a exciting match. Again, a top tier matchup too. Not often you get to see squads like this battle it out, and it's really what I look forward to when you get to the end of the season. We're in the final weeks of season 1. Week 13 is next week. It's the last week of the season. Then we go to a break over the course of December, and we come back with big postseason games over the weekends of January. January going to be awesome. Really going to be hyped about that. But it's the pressure's on, and this is when you get to see these top teams compete with that pressure on. Start of the season, I don't know, Bob. It's kind of, you don't really feel it. It's kind of loosey-goosey. Sure, you don't want a loss, but it's okay. Right now, week 12, a loss stings a lot more.
Yeah, beginning of the season, I find it very interesting because you always see those like brand new teams that form, and then over the course of the season, you see who sticks it out and which teams stay there and which teams fall apart. It's really interesting to see, if you watch the roster updates and the teams, just how different the teams are, from the beginning of this season to towards the end of season 1, which we're in right now. We're starting off with Indomitable moving in on the bedroom. Big Lunch will find that kill on Dr. Turk. Crimson tossing a frag that's going to bounce off the wall there. As we see, it looks like Indomitable going for that bedroom push. 2 minutes 15 left on the clock. Plenty of time for Aspect to play this here. Big Lunch just sitting on that death box, and that's just going to make things difficult for Indomitable. And you have to wonder, are they going to stick with that bedroom push, or should they move out into family room? We do see Frostbite finding solo, angle. So it could be a good start for Indomitable here.
They got the kill on A balcony through the window from B balcony on the outside. That was a interesting angle there to catch that kill, and maybe it incentivizes them to rotate A site. They haven't found much success B. They've already got a kill out at A lobby, and it does seem like the A site rotation is the play as they do quickly push into a quick kill. Faded finds one and is in a firefight for their life. They'll go down trying to rotate through. Jess catches the kill themselves, and it keeps A3 in the lead. Aspect with a 3v2 advantage in the final minute of round 1.
Yeah, we see Crimson out here in the family room balcony. The push hasn't quite been there from Indomitable this round. I think they tried to switch things up. Possibly it came a little bit too late because now they're only down to 2 players. Crimson's on about half health. We see I blame my aim in bedroom right now, just kind of watching for any kind of Indo movement out there. 40 seconds left on the clock, and Indomitable, they're going to have to do something here as we see Big Lunch over in Site A along with Jess. And really, Indo kind of cut off here. They do have the breaching foam down on that bathroom wall. Static field emitter is going to make things annoying for Dan Katana as I Blame I Am looks to swing, finding one on Crimson, finding the double on Dan Katana to give round 1 to Aspect.
A solid 1-2 punch there over the top, and it is a Aspect early lead, but hard fought. The pistol round, definitely the equalizing round, the moment where you kind of see how the lobby is almost going to get kind of work out in a lot of ways. You know, is it going to be a team that's going to come in and barrel in, get aggressive on offense round 1? It's not. It is Indomitable, very much cautiously working their way into this Aspect team, trying to feel them out, at least in this first pistol round. Now we go into another eco round for them, a big committed buy coming in with double rifles from Aspect, as you'd expect from a top team that's confident in themselves. They're going to look for that aggression. They're going to look to get a clean 2-0 out the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think you make a very good point. Indomitable are just kind of testing the waters. They're trying to find, you know, what works with Aspect and what they're doing better than them, and then they're going to try and adapt their strategies to counter that. So we'll see. Indomitable needs some time here to build up their playbook, but currently we see Big Lunch over in Garage right now. Looks like it's going to be that main garage push from Indo. Crimson out by the front door, picking up some shots there. Almost dead on 17 health right now, but that drone moving into garage. And it will spot Solo, who's crossing back over into foyer. About 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Indomitable have plenty of time. There's the movement, and you see the proximity alarm at the edge of garage, which is really smart by Aspect, because they can shoot right through the table. They know somebody's there. Solo finding the kill on Crimson. A good shutout from Aspect, who will pick up the first kill of this round. It's now a 4 versus 5. Solo gets the heal off. It was a committed buy, as Nightfire pointed out. But Aspect, it seems to be a calculated risk as they're shutting out Indomitable with those Vezes. And then if they take any kind of damage, well, they can just heal it off because they have 2 heals.
Yeah, it's a very strong Aspect defense in round 2. And you saw at one point, I'm not sure who it was, shrugged their shoulders after trying to breach into garage. Like, what are we supposed to do? There's suppressive fire, static emitters. They know our location. They're continuing to put rounds through the wall for the wall bangs, and it ultimately does deter the Indomitable squad from deciding to push garage, and maybe puts them into more exposed positions if they do rotate over towards A, exposing themselves right into Solo's line of sight, who's patiently waiting here in A lobby and does take some early shots, giving away their position.
You just have to wonder, I mean, did Indomitable make the right call with the push on garage? At this point, it might be smarter to just try and play that hatch above dining room or site A. We see Brabadabadoh picking up the kill on Solo. I Blame on the table in site A, and it looks like it's going to be a push through foyer. This could work well for Indomitable, or it could sink them. It's really kind of a 50-50 push here. Faded taking out Dr. Turt, and Indo are going to have to be careful and keep an eye on that flank to make sure they don't get cut off by another Aspect player. Dan Katana with that EMP. Indo are really kind of stuck in living room at the moment. They got players to their left, players to the right, but there's a 2-prong on dining room. Big Lunch will push out, finding the kill on Brabadabadoh, who took out I Blame My Aim before going down. Faded finding the kill on Dan Katana, and Big Lunch closing things off for the second round in a row with a kill on Frostbite.
For a brief moment, it got dangerous for the Aspect team as a rifle was into the hands of a offensive player there, but quickly scooped up with some nice shots from the pistol. And yeah, Aspect up to a 2-0 lead. We go into a partial buy again for the Indomitable squad. We've seen teams struggling to effectively manage the economy into round 3 where they can full buy, and I say struggling, but maybe not necessarily struggling because, some teams then calculate it for where they'll commit harder into the last 2 rounds versus trying to get the full half. And we are actually seeing here a full buy from Indomitable, which just gets them 4 rifles and 1 player kitted out with a drone and a pistol. They're on that B-site garage, and so I guess if there ever was a time to buy in, it's on a objective that I feel like lends itself to the offense more than not. You have the option to plant and then defend from the outdoors. Not often do you get an option like that on an objective.
Only problem with that particular plant is because Hideout's been around for forever. At this point, a team can really kind of anticipate that push, and so it's up to Indomitable to execute that plan if that's what they're going for. I'm not sure that is what they're going for right now, as we see them making entry on the first floor right now. Dan Katana blowing open that wall from laundry into kitchen as Solo waiting in foyer, finding a great kill on Crimson, but does get refragged by Dr. Turt. Faded picking up the kill on Frostbite. It's a 4 versus 3. This is a round that Indo are really going to want to win here to give them a little bit of extra eco for the rest of this first half. They spent a lot of money here on Vezins and Util, so they don't really want to lose this one. I wouldn't want to lose this one either, because he would be out a lot of money. He'd be on another force eco, so it could really, really hurt them, and they've got their work cut out for them for the rest of this round.
There's still a roamer on the top floor here. Gib, Jess is making their way back to garage. They waited very patiently after the chaos unfolded with Solo in that main lobby, and I do think that the Solo death will throw off this team into not being ready for Jess, who has so far quietly made their rotation here. And no one, this has been clear for several minutes at this stage. Why would there be a defender here? And fortunately, they only catch 1 kill. A nice pickup from Dr. Turt to react, find the refrag, and keep things at least close here into a 2v3.
What great patience from Jess right there on the Aspect team, and really kind of a good mind game there. I don't think Indomitable were expecting, like you said, they were expecting a defender to be upstairs, but there Jess was and found that kill. Now did get refragged because I'm not sure Jess was expecting another enforcer to push that same angle. This static field emitter, okay, they're going to take that out with a frag grenade as Indomitable are getting ready to push that lazy plant. Rabbit finding the kill on Faded will be refragged by I Blame My Aim. It's now just down to Dr. Turt, who does pick up the kill on I Blame My Aim, and just like that, it's down to a 1v1. Big Lunch versus Dr. Turt. 30 seconds left on the clock as Dr. Turt does have the EMP, has to make a choice here. Either go for the plant or go for the kill. Dr. Turt pushing into Jim right now, where Big Lunch is waiting behind the box. Turt isn't able to secure that kill. Good kill from Big Lunch to close out this round. Give Aspect their 3rd win in a row. That's got to be a little bit demoralizing for Indomitable.
Yeah, it's got to sting a little bit. 3 quick points secured by Aspect, and momentum certainly in their favor, but this is a team that they're going up against, Indomitable, that has fought hard against opponents that are of similar skill level to Aspect and surprised us. Whoa, I just knocked my thing out. I do think that they will be showing off a. Hold on, Bob. We got a mic problem over here.
Yeah, well, it looks like Indomitable on the roof right now. We do see them. It looks like it might potentially be that family room push on Site A. Dr. Turt is lining up on the windows right now. Frostbite on the balcony. This is a push that is easier to execute than the bedroom push. So we'll see if Indomitable can make this work. But Faded in the corner of family room, if they aren't careful on Indo, this could really, really hurt them. Frostbite looks to get ready to push in. Oh, walking right in, and Faded will pick up that kill. That's just on Indomitable. They didn't check their corner. They're solo, finding Dan Katana with a trip mine. And there you have another good pick for Indo. Dr. Turk did secure a kill. Brabadabado picking up the kill on Faded. It's now a 3 versus 3. But look at this. I blame my aim. Down in the family room right now. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. As Brabadabado knows somebody was in there. Does catch a view of I blame my aim, who's going to rotate back. Dr. Turk look to swing I blame my aim along with Brabadabado, but I blame just securing that route down the small stairs will escape. It's a 3 versus 3 once again. I blame could create some problems for Indo here, but if they can get that EMP planted fast enough, they might find some success here.
Yeah, it is a A-site push on the setup here from the Indomitable squad. They've got 3 on the outside, ready and waiting as utility starts to come in. They need to get rid of the static emitter, which they do. Solo quickly flies out and disrupts this push forward, though. A quick refrag from Brabadabado, though, and now it's a 2v2. I like how we can say his name in different ways, as Brabadabado does go down there, and now Dr. Turt's alone in a 1v2.
Yeah, Turt, once again in this clutch situation. A minute 20 left on the clock. Turt rotating over to site B. I think Aspect probably expecting that push because I didn't see any kind of activity. Big lunch is taken out by Turt, but I blame there for the refrag. And you know, that's the power of a double swing like that, is you can take out a player just by overwhelming them. So good play from Aspect right there. They're going to pick up their 4th round in a row over Indomitable. And we're getting close to the end of the first half. Indomitable, they're going to need to find some kind of momentum here on this offense.
I mean, this is it. These are the rounds that they're going to be able to full buy into. They're looking at 4 consecutive round losses in a row for that extra cash bonus. So you are going to see full buys. You're seeing the Marui investment for potential wall bang. It's everything into these last 2 rounds for Indomitable because they just want to come out with 2 so they can put on a clean defensive set. It's it really is. I mean, this could be Aspect coming away clean with a good solid 6-0 at this rate, with how the momentum's in their favor, how well they've been performing on these final rounds. You look at the scoreboard, you do see kills coming in from Indomitable on Brabadabado and Dr. Turt in particular, but a lot more on Aspect across the board. You know, more shooters feeling good and finding their shots successful on the Aspect side right now this afternoon, and obviously they're up 4-0 as a nade toss comes in, shuts down a drone before it can even get inside garage and find any details about where this defense is set up.
What's interesting is that the top fraggers of both teams, both have 5 kills. So Indomitable are putting up a fight here, but Aspect, they've got the team coordination, and everybody on Aspect are contributing. Meanwhile, on Indomitable, they've got 3 players there who've, only got 2 kills between the 3 of them. So they're struggling for pace here. Indomitable losing Frostbite early. That's not going to help them out for this round, but they do have Vezens. Interesting buy with the 2 Maruis there. Not something you see too often in competitive play. We see Crimson out by that front door. I blame my aim, just waiting in foyer, finding a very nice kill on Dr. Turt. And what an angle there. Caught Dr. Turt, who was rotating over to the front door. Amazing angle there. I blame going back over into the living room.
They were picking up a piece of utility that was thrown to them that went over their shoulder and on the ground behind them. That was a mistake. They weren't even on a rotation. It was a mistake. Oh gosh, that one stings probably a lot over on the Indomitable side as another kill comes through. Aspect 5 alive, full health. Dan with a slice and Brabadabado alone on this side of garage into a 2v5 in round 5. This is looking like Aspect running away with things, and at this pace, we could be in store for a 2-map series, and if that's the case, we may be able to jump over to another game that's live right now. Acer and Eternity are playing, and maybe we could jump into that if that's still going. So Who knows? But we'll have to see if Indomitable can step up a little bit here and find some momentum. Aspect, they're dancing on objective with how they're so confident with how well they've been performing, and maybe they're they're just happy with how well they've been performing because they have caught a solid bit of points on the board so far. You're seeing Faded toss up the A3 logo with bullets on the wall there and really trying to show it off to the folks at home. And as utility comes in, nobody will be there on B site just yet. I do think this is maybe an eco from Indomitable.
It looked like Brabadabado was having some intrusive thoughts about shooting Dan Katana there, but they can't afford to lose that extra Marui and utility over on Indo. It's just really tough, and I'm glad to see they're joking around a little bit. I was concerned for a little bit. Maybe their mental isn't the best here. They've lost 5 straight rounds against Aspect, and again, like that kill we saw from iBlame, they're not even getting the chance to get in the building, which is it's frustrating if you're on the losing side. So, I'm hoping Indomitable they don't get their spirits crushed easily. They stay in the game. They believe that they can beat Aspect because confidence is key in breaches. If you think you can do it, you're already halfway there to completing your goal. And if you can get over that mental hurdle, you can find a lot of success.
Yeah, you can indeed, and we'll see if Indomitable can overcome that mental hurdle. It's going to be, again, a challenge, but it's possible. And we look at the match history, they have on record beating some good teams so far this season. So maybe it's just this map. When we swap maps, next map, maybe they'll have a better start there. Maybe it's just their early pistol rounds that didn't set them up strong. The reset could mean everything. They could still tie. They can still win if they win every round from here on out, but we'll have to see. Another full buy. As I say that, not necessarily a full buy because we do see a Viper RCPs coming in on the Indomitable side, and even with the consecutive loss money, they're not fully kitted out on this push into B site.
RCP can definitely do a lot of damage if you can get your shots with it. iBlame actually being tagged there by that frag. So Indo knows somebody's in the fort. Faded over in storage right now, and Aspect really just doing their best to keep Indo outside and keep them kind of funneled in the courtyard over there. Faded doing an excellent job defending. Is going to hide behind that shelf right now, just waiting for Indo to make their move. They did breach that gym wall, so it looks like they're going to try and get the EMP planted somewhere by that breach so they can just sit outside. But, they have to be able to get in there. They're droning out looking for a player, and iBlame is just stubbornly defending the fort as Indo looking to rotate and try a different strategy here. Dan Katana and Crimson heading over to Wine Cellar along with Frostbite and Dr. Turk. It looks like they might try a bar push.
A lot of good utility placement coming in from Aspect on the defensive side there as they do hold down the entryway quite well. And really do like to see, again, this Aspect team putting on such a strong performance here, utilizing utility you don't see utilized very often with the smoke grenades on defense to kind of shut down a push. It completely forces a rotation from Indomitable, and even on that rotation, they're identified with the audio transmitter giving away some information. Enough info for Faded to catch a wallbang headshot for the first kill of the round.
There's one breach as Jess finding Frostbite. It looked like Indomitable were trying to set up a two-prong, one from Arcade, the other from the small stairs hallway. Brabadabado finding Jess there. They weren't able to get that second wall open. Now, Dan Katana could potentially go for the EMP plant. Faded moving up. They've kind of lost that window. Dan Katana will go down to Faded. It's now a 2 versus 4. It's just down to Brabadabado and Dr. Turt. The last two players standing between Aspect and their first half lockout. They're just one round away from match point. and Indomitable are in a really tough spot right now. Solo will go down to Dr. Turd. It's now just down to Brabadabado, looking to find the kill on I Blame My Aim, but Big Lunch will find that kill on Brabadabado. And there you have it. Aspect moving into the second half with the first half lockout 6-0. They only need one more round to win the whole thing.
This is a fast map one so far. We swap sides, we go to the pistol round, we reset economies, we go to the great equalizer, and a chance for Indomitable to put up a clean defensive set themselves and tie this whole thing 6-6. But Aspect just need one more. And I say just, but that just can sometimes mean the death of a team's lead too, Gib. I mean, we've seen teams really struggle to get the final point because it can be hard to secure. The mental aspect can be sometimes hard to overcome when you're winning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even just last night, Devour versus Static Creed, we saw that. You know, Static Creed got to, Devour got to 6 rounds, and Static Creed were able to bring it back all 6 rounds. Now, granted, at that point, Static Creed had already lost the entire set, but I mean, it can certainly happen. Stranger things have happened. Indomitable can still bring this back. Brabadabado finding the kill on Faded Frost by taking out Solo's Big Lunch, pushing in, finding that kill on Brabadabado, picking up a second on Crimson. Dan Katana finding I Blame My Aim as Dan Katana finding 2, finding 3. No way! What a clean triple kill from Dan Katana, and that's gotta feel good for Indomitable.
Right back into it with a big pistol around. They can get the chance to invest by here on defense and at least get 2 on the board pretty assuredly. It's not a guaranteed thing. Aspect's a strong team, and they're likely to put up a good competitive offensive push in here, but that does give the Indomitable team the chance to invest a little extra money this round, which they will, because there's no point in saving when your back's against the wall and you cannot afford a single round loss. So double rifles coming through. I'm surprised that Crimson and Frostbite aren't picking up like an Omen or a Viper or an RCP even, just a cheaper SMG buy that puts you in a spot where, oh yeah, there's the utility from Crimson. They're buying all the utility for their entire team, and Frostbite's just one holding on to cash for whatever reason, so that in the case that they do win next round, they'll be able to be the one that buys a bunch of utility maybe, but it's definitely a strong defense that this Aspect squad's going up against.
So Indomitable, I mean, they're doing the obvious strategy here. Spend your money like it's your last round. And that's really kind of what you got to do when you're in this 1-6 situation that Indomitable is in. But make sure you don't count out Aspect. When they used to go under the name of the older guys, they were very, very good at beating, another team when they were on an eco round. Spectrals against Vezins. And the older guys can make it work, and they became Aspect here. So, I'm curious to see if they can work their same magic like they did before. We do see the sights are upstairs. It looks like it's going to be a bedroom push. Well, it looked like it was going to be a bedroom push, but now I'm thinking that might be more of a bait from Aspect as we see Solo and Faded. I Blame now moving into the family room balcony. Crimson will go for the swing as I Blame is almost caught by that. Both those players, Dan Katana looking to rotate back in, but Faded will pick up that kill first. See the smoke on the wall there as Aspect haven't blown the wall. There it goes. Crimson still by this box is tossing that incendiary. They're trying to keep the EMP from being planted for as long as possible. Big Lunch picking up the kill on Brabadabado. Faded will get that planted as Frostbite finding the kill on Big Lunch. Solo taking out Crimson. It's now a 2 versus 4, and it's down to the 2 Vezin players for Indomitable. Now, Dr. Turt does find the kill on Faded. It's now a 3 versus 2. These 2 players have got to stay alive if Indomitable want to have any hope of winning this they can't win the first map. They can only tie it up. We see Solo in family room balcony is just looking to go for the flank. Will take out that proximity alarm. Frostbite pushing way up. This is kind of an overextension, a big overextension, but Frostbite will secure the kill on I Blame My Aim. Finds a double. Solo, that was a bit of a panic. It's Jess taking out Frostbite. It's now just down to Jess and Dr. Turt. And Jess finds the kill. Dr. Turt, and it's a 7-1 game. Aspect are your first map winners, and there you go. If a team can do it on the eco round, it's Aspect.
Wow, what a fight for map number 1. It looked like Indomitable maybe has started to gain some ground at the start there of that back half, but, you know, the 6-0 start, that just, one round is all that was necessary. Aspect do take it and lock in map 1, 7-1 out the gate here. Where do we go from here? Map 2, a reset. Indomitable need to go somewhere favorable, and I'm not sure that there's really anywhere that's terribly favorable going up against a squad like Aspect. Ship, actually. Well, Ship. I stand corrected. Ship is. If you look at the stats, 69% win rate for this team on Ship. That's a pretty big rarity where a team plays the map even a consistent amount. And in its comparison, Aspect only 23 rounds this whole season on Ship and 48% win rate. So if I were a gambling man, I would say that Indomitable are likely to take us to Ship for map 2, or at the very least, that's where they should take this Aspect team, is to a place where they have a little bit more of a comfort zone other than a Hideout, because Hideout really went well for Aspect right there, and they're now looking at series map for their second map point. But yeah, Gib, I mean, hey, there is a lot of action left this week, next week. These are going to be top-tier teams duking it out. I expect Indomitable to put up a good contest in Map 2, but Aspect are clearly a force to be reckoned with this stage in the season.
Absolutely, and it does look like you are going to get your wish with Ship there. You know, don't forget, by the way, that next Monday is roster lock. So any league players out there looking for a team, or any teams looking for players, make sure you get those players in this weekend, because Monday and the start of week 13, the last week of the regular season, that's going to be the roster lock. Now, in terms of Ship, that's kind of what I would consider a wild card. Some teams played Ship because nobody else liked to play Ship. You know, I love to see Ship. It's one of my favorite maps. But some teams played it because nobody else played it, and then they got really good at Ship. So potentially we could see Indomitable, you know, finding success here on Ship. But of course, you know, you never know. We've seen teams before who don't play a whole lot of Ship, and they turn out to be very, very good on Ship. So Aspect might be able to make it work, but Indomitable, they're trying to bring them to an unfamiliar location, and they could get some rounds in on Aspect here.
Quick shout out to our sponsors contributing into the $9,000 cash and hardware prize pool that these teams are competing for. At the end of the day, the top 7 squads qualify instantly into the round robin, and a 8th slot is competed for. We then have top 8 teams from every region battle it out for a chance at this $9,000 in cash and hardware prize pool. It comes from, again, our sponsors, who do include HyperX. You can get a discount on any HyperX product in the U.S. by using code HXVRML23. That's one word, and that'll get you 15% off. We're also sponsored by ProTube. You can get 10% off any ProTube purchase by using code ILOVEVRML. They're a fantastic stock sponsor that helps stabilize your aim in-game. Great Christmas gift for any VR user out there, so do go check them out. We're also sponsored by VR Cover, another great stocking stuffer if you are interested in getting a good gift for a VR friend. They are a great hygiene and comfort product manufacturer. Also sponsored by Triangle Factory, 2 skins, one you can earn, one you can buy. And last but not least, Helga, the esports bots manager, a bot that helps you schedule your league matches, a bot made by league players for league players. And I think I just got in the reads for round 1, a little bit late, but just in time for the breach on A site and the push to come through from Indomitable. As we go swap team sides, Indomitable on the attack, Aspect on the defense.
And welcome to map 2. Here we are starting things off on Ship. We've got a breach into Site B. The workshop is Solo picking up a nice kill on Dr. Turp, but Frostbite will find Faded as Dan Katana and Crimson looking for the refrag on Solid. They won't find it. Solar just rotating back over into Red Engine. Big Lunch still keeping an eye on that breach. 2 minutes 15 left on the clock, and it's this 4v4 situation here between Indomitable and Aspect. They might be able to push in and get that EMP planted, but it's still quite risky as Solo picking up another kill, this time on Frostbite. It's down to Brabbit Abadeau over by Pump right now. We see iBlame in Pump, just waiting for Brabbit Abadeau to swing out. Minute 45 left, so Indomitable have time. They're going to rotate back over to the Pump. We see iBlame just taking a defensive position there, waiting. Solo will arrive for some backup there. Crimson spotted Solo, looking for some shots. A minute and a half left on the clock now, as we see these three Indomitable players just biding their time. iBlame finding a very, very nice headshot on Crimson, and it's now a 2 versus 4. And things are looking a bit dire for Indo on the start of this second map. Now, because they were able to pick the map, the other team, Aspect, were able to pick the side, so they chose to start off on defense. And from what I hear from League players, Ship tends to be a defense-sided map, so this could be dangerous for Indo.
Could be another dire 6-0 start like we saw on Hideout, and no matter how well you can perform on defense when you're down 6-0 and can only let one round through the gap, it is a hard series to play. And so it's the last thing they want, and we're not there obviously yet. We're not even done with this pistol round. It's still 2v4, and there's a Taurus in the hand of Dan, and we've seen a 1-2-3 triple come from them already with that.
Yeah, Jess looking for some shots on Brabbit Abadeau, who's through the wall right now. Dan Katana just in the breaches. Jess finding the kill on Brabbit Abadeau. It's now just down to Dan Katana, who will go down to Big Lunch, and it's a first round win for Aspect, and they just played that so well. Now, Indomitable, when I saw them go up against Formula 3, they had, a really interesting strategy where they would push through, they would open up a wall, and then they push through either fire or armory. We're just not seeing that there. They're playing these two breaches, and while you can open up that exterior wall with the breaching foam, you're also creating just a choke point if you continue to peek that. And really that gave Aspect, a good target to shoot at, and Indomitable ended up losing that first round.
Yeah, and they continue to pile on the points. At this stage, Map 1 going 7-1. Map 2 already in their lead, albeit very early. It puts them in a position to, again, invest in their confidence. We see only one rifle buy coming through. Maybe they could only afford one rifle for amongst the players there off of that last round. But, it is going to be a slightly advantaged defense from Aspect.
That seems incredibly hard to believe that they were only able to afford one Vezin when 4 of their players made it, but oh well, I guess the eco is a little bit stingy there this time for Aspect. But we see Solo, Jess, Faded, all just waiting in Helm. They're waiting for that drop from Indomitable, and if they do choose to drop down that hatch, it might be a bit brutal for Indo, but they are just keeping an eye on the hatch. They've opened up the door. Nobody's dropping in there yet. They're stacking up on the hatch. This could be very dangerous. This Brabbit Abadeau dropping in. There's the frag. Oh, no! It's going to tag Brabbit Abadeau. Solo finding the kill on Dan Katana. Frostbite dropping too, as Dr. Turt finding Solo. And just like that, Indomitable have turned the tables on Aspect. Now just down to Big Lunch and iBlame. And look at this. Dr. Turt has recovered the Vezin from Aspect. Oh man, iBlame and Big Lunch are in a really dangerous position here. 2 minutes left on the clock as Indomitable getting ready to push in here. Now, Brabbit Abadeau is pretty low on health, along with Crimson, but the big threat here, Dr. Turt with that Vezin, is iBlame finding the kill on Crimson. It's now a 3 versus 2. There's the breach into communications, the 2-prong. Dr. Turt finding iBlame, that range and fire rate advantage, as Dr. Turt will go down to Big Lunch, but Brabbit Abadeau securing the refrag. Good teamwork there from Indomitable. And just like that, I mean, you see, they can beat a team with a Vezin. It's not a guaranteed win if you purchase a rifle.
You can invest in the confidence, but that also can be an over-investment, and that's definitely the case there on the Aspect squad. Indomitable finally bouncing back, and off of a big win, you know, echoing from their last round, they are able to full buy here in round 3. In comparison, we're going to see a partial buy, almost a full buy for Aspect as well. And so round 3 is a true, I don't know, I don't feel like we see this very often, not because we don't, I suppose, get to 1v1s very often, but it is going to be a full buy here on both sides. Everyone committing all of their cash for this round to win, taking the risk on both ends. If either one of these teams loses at this stage, this round, they are going to be very damaged going into the round after this. There's not going to be a lot of credits coming in for the losing team, and so it's that's the game of breachers. That's what makes the esports so fun, is watching that risk-reward comparison come through. And we appreciate everyone tuning in, stopping by, and enjoying the action so far this afternoon.
There's the breach on Workshop, and the action is just starting off immediately here. Solo, again, in that really annoying spot for Indo to deal with over by Red Engine. Solo just going to look to rotate as we see Crimson trying to find some damage, and will tag Faded a bit there. We see Frostbite is upstairs looking for a roamer. I blame my aim, actually just behind Frostbite, however, and this isn't good for Indomitable. If they lose Frostbite early, that won't be very good for their team. They're going to lose one of their flankers. I blame just at the last second decides to go the other way. Oh man, you know, it's funny. I mean, we can see them on the spectator. We can see through the walls. So, you know, while you could say, oh, why didn't they just turn around? Well, I mean, Frostbite had no way of knowing, and I blame had no way of knowing. Dr. Turk finding the kill on Jess. As we see the two players over in Armory right now. Big Lunch just on the other side of that wall. Solo in Workshop as Indomitable getting ready to push into Site B. There's a nice frag from Aspect. As Crimson pushing in, leading the charge for Indo. They're all in Site B right now. Frostbite finding kill on Solo. It's now a 3 versus 5 as Frostbite finding Solo. Dr. Turk taking out I Blame My Aim. Frostbite taking out Big Lunch. It's now just down to Faded, who Dan Katana will pick up that kill for. And there you have it. Indomitable taking the lead for the first time tonight.
Ship maybe is their map. 5 alive on the offense there on the attack. And like I said, the losing team suffers the most off of that round loss. Aspect not able to buy at all into this round. They're going up against a fully kitted Indomitable squad who just beat them 5-0 on a full buy round. How are they going to have any hope of defending this? You know, again, if you're going to factor in the momentum and the mental side of it, that could be a serious consideration for anyone on the Aspect team. You know, if we didn't get a single kill with rifles, how are we going to get kills with pistols in this next round? Either way, it does look like Indomitable could be barreling towards a 3-1 lead and at least a potential of winning this first half on Ship, which would be a big comeback from a 7-1 map loss.
I was going to say, you know, Aspect, they've won a round while they were ecoing before with rifles. And then I looked over at the Indomitable eco. They've got 5 rifles, and they've got all the utility they can carry. So it's going to be pretty tough for Aspect. I think the best case scenario for them is to, maybe take out 1 or 2, Indo players. They got to do some damage to their economy, force them to buy some rifles. But right now, Indo are just in a really good spot. They didn't lose any players last round. Faded with the Taurus just going and trying to find, a headshot there with the Taurus, which, will be able to one-tap. Solo goes bowling, finds Dr. Turk, and a good start for Aspect there as Faded just keeping the 2 players pinned there. Frostbite will toss a frag down the long hallway, not finding anybody. Dan Katana does recover that EMP. Not the best start for Indo, but it could go, it could go either way at this point. We see Solo just standing up on the terminal in communications. There's the 2-prong breach from Helm. 1:50 left on the clock. Indomitable have plenty of time to play this. Dan Katana getting sapped by that Spectral there. And they're really just finding good damage on Aspect, but Crimson will take out Solo. They've done a lot of damage to Dan Katana, and Crimson forcing them to use some heals. As Frostbite finding the kill on Faded. I don't know. It might not have been enough as we see Jess looking for a kill. Frostbite will find Big Lunch. Frostbite finding a second on Jess. It's now just down to I Blame My Aim, who's over in navigation. Finding one, finding two. This is amazing for Aspect. They picked up quite a few kills here, done a lot of damage to the eco. And that's really probably the best that they can do right now. Now, I Blame could find, maybe another kill, maybe even 2 kills. But in terms of, the damage they wanted to do, I'd probably call this a success from Aspect. Oh, I Blame just recovered a Vezin. Dan Katana finding that kill.
Could have been big news for the Aspect team on the comeback train there, but their defensive set not going too hot right now on ship. And frankly, at this rate, I feel like Indomitable are maybe sprinting towards the 7-1 of their own on ship right now. If they can take the next 2 points, cleanly go up 5-1 on offense, swap over to defense, take their defensive 2, there's a real chance that we see a complete score reversal here on map 2, which would be, well, wild, but also, I suppose, like an indicator that these teams are close. It's really just kind of, I don't know, situational based. What determines, how a team perform. The map, I suppose, being a big factor, most likely. And well, so far, ship's certainly going well for Indomitable. Not to say that they are guaranteed a 7-1, as they have been fighting hard on the Aspect side. I think if we look at the KDs on the afternoon, we will see that we do have a couple of kills coming in on the Aspect side there, 4 apiece from Solo and I Blame. And now Crimson adding another one to their list as Jess goes down, another kill or 2 coming through. Crimson pushing in already onto B site.
Crimson in Armory just looking for Fade in there. 2 minutes 40 on the clock as Indomitable getting ready to push in on site B once again. It's down to a 4 versus 3, but look at this. I Blame finding Dr. Turt and Indomitable. 2 of their players are pretty low on health right now. Now, Rabadabado with that drone just looking for those Aspect players. Faded will take down Crimson. The charge has stopped on Indomitable. We'll see if they can find that momentum that they need to bring this 4th round in there for them. So, I don't know. I mean, they're in a rough spot right now. They're going to need to try and change something up with the push. I think if they just keep contesting that same wall, Aspect is eventually going to take them out. Minute 50 on the clock now. They've got plenty of time to make a move here on Indo. They just need the opportunity to make one as Dan Katana finding the kill on I Blame My Aim, and it's now a 2 versus 2. Indomitable had done an excellent job of evening the odds here, but Faded and Solo have the health advantage.
Oh.
Dan Katana, however, finding Solo, and it's now just down to Faded as we see a minute 20 left on the clock. Dan Katana does have that EMP. Faded is going to go up against 2 players who are around 30 health, so won't take Faded as many shots to kill the other 2, but they do have the numbers advantage, if you will. So, if one of their shots lands on Faded's head, it's going to be over for Aspect.
Just a tap to the back of Brab as Faded here gets a little indicator that there's a defender, and they don't see them with the active camo tucked in behind some cover. A pop up and a big comeback clutch from the Indomitable duo. Man, that was Aspect getting back into it, Gib. I really felt Aspect was going to take that round and shut down this momentum, this chance of a complete score swing for map 2. But for now, it's continuing to go the way of Indomitable, and they're ever closer to 5-1 on the first half. It's really looking bad for Aspect right now. Their economy's in shambles, too. They don't have enough to buy really at all into this round, and it's the last round before we reset economies. So, spend everything you got. We're looking at, in comparison, a fully kitted out Indomitable squad, all the bells and whistles with all the utility coming in on the offense. So, another tough round for Aspect ahead of them.
I tend to think, that each team has a weaker side, when it comes to a certain map. So Aspect picked up one round here on the defense. They still have the capacity to pick up a second. I wonder if we'll see them bring in a much better offense to the table than they do a defense. But, it could be they just haven't played nearly as much ship as they have the other maps. So they could be just thrown off here by the, by the specific maps. This is not something they're as familiar with as, the other maps that they play. We see Dan Katana and Dr. Turt in bunks right now. Frostbite in infirmary. They've opened up the rotation between bunks and infirmary. We see Faded on green stairs right now. Crimson over on blue stairs. Solo and Faded, the roamers for Aspect, will walk right into Crimson. Solo looks for a refrag. There's Crimson, finds the kill on Faded. Will just rotate back. Crimson did an excellent job staying alert. We see Jess in the back of kitchen right now, tossing up a frag. And there's 2 statics and a door blocker. So it's going to be pretty rough for Indomitable to get through that door over by the red hallway. Dr. Turk finding the kill on I Blame My Aim. As it's now a 2 versus 5. It's down to Jess and Big Lunch here. We see Jess finding the kill on Crimson. Jess finding a second before going down with that kunai. It's now just down to Big Lunch. He's got a 1v3 this with the Spectral. And Brad Benavido with an excellent flick on Big Lunch to give Indomitable a 5-1 lead heading into the second half. And really, Aspect don't have much room for error here.
What a crazy score reversal momentum shift. And, I suppose I spoke too soon saying that we'd be able to jump to another game after a 2-map series. When and maybe I'm speaking too soon even then, because it's not done yet. Aspect can fight back hard on offense themselves. And I don't know, Gib. I do think some teams do actually like to attack on ship too, So we'll see if Aspect's a team that's going to be able to compete like we saw Indomitable do on the offensive side of things. The pistol round's huge right now because if this goes to Indomitable 6-1, again, that's just so hard to overcome. And it guarantees us a third map. If one round is locked in by Indomitable right now, we're guaranteed map 3.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Aspect again, not much room for error. Well, I guess no room for error if they want to close things off on this map right here. We'll see how they work on the offense. If their offense is better than defense, or if ship just isn't their map. I don't know if you can see I Blame My Aim glitching out on your screen right now, but for me, I Blame's legs are going the opposite way. That looks horrifying. We see Solo and Big Lunch right outside of Green Engine, where Brabadabado is waiting. Solo will find the kill on Brabadabado, who just looked away at the wrong time. Dan Katana, Crimson, Dr. Turk, Frostbite, all in pump right now. They have nobody in Workshop. This could be bad for Indo. Okay, Dr. Turk over there. Frostbite finding the kill on Jess. It's now a 4 versus 4. 4 versus 3. It's Frostbite finding 2. Dan Katana picking up the kill on I Blame My Aim. Crimson finding Big Lunch. It's now just down to Solo, the last hope for Aspect. But Dr. Turk will find the kill on Solo. And there you have it, Nightfire. We're going to see a third map. And yeah, we could potentially see a 7-1, a complete reversal of what Aspect did on Hideout.
It is on the cusp of becoming a reality. We're going to see the investment in this round coming through from Indomitable, Orals, RCPs. They're putting everything in. Like I said last time, it's interesting that you would buy 2 Vezins and not just fully commit into getting everything, in this round. Maybe it puts a more chance of a comeback if you do lose. I don't know, but we're seeing Indomitable commit heavily into taking this 7-1. Tying us 8-8 on overall score and pushing us dead even into a map 3 decider. Certainly, again, an interesting battle that we've tuned into here this afternoon, Gib, if there's ever a word for it. But I don't think I've seen scoreline shift this severely in a series with 2 teams that are so evenly matched.
One thing's for sure, and Tire Tongue made an excellent point, that the connoisseurs are starting to sweat here. because it looked like it was going to be, an aspect match here. But right now, Indomitable are doing an excellent job of bringing it back, almost securing a round win here. Solo almost taken out by that frag as Aspect on the move. Solo just at the other end of the long hallway will take out that static field emitter. It looks like it's going to be a push from Aspect onto Navigation. Faded catching some shots there as Jess will be the one to go down. We do see Faded with that EMP rotating around with the breaching foam looking to get it on the wall. We could potentially see a two-prong here if Solo can get on that door blocker. Dr. Turk pushing out, finding the kill on Solo, looks to get back into his stand Katana, securing the kill on Big Ledge. Rabbit finding Faded. It's now just down to I Blame My Aim, who's the last hope for Aspect. I Blame might be surrendering here. No, I Blame decides, no, I'm going to go down fighting. 2 minutes left on the clock, and really, I mean, we've seen it here so far. It's that, complete reversal of the score. What was once 7-1 from Aspect on Hideout turned into 7-1 from Indomitable on Ship. And what an exciting turn of events here. And we're going to go to a third map, and this is going to be a nail biter here.
Not what I anticipated this afternoon for map 2 with how well it was going for Aspect on Hideout, but maybe the map means everything for these teams at the higher tier. It clearly does in this battle this afternoon. And we go into a third map dead even, tied across the board with rounds 8-8. And man, I am very interested to see where we go for map number 3. We can take a look at the stats to give us maybe a idea, as it is likely to be Aspect's map choice. Factory seems to be the clear decision based off of how much they've played it in comparison to Indomitable, but their win rate's no better than Indomitable, although that doesn't mean everything. And I imagine, if we go to Factory, I feel like that's going to be a spot where we could actually end up with the most even back and forth, too. So we really could have quite an exciting map number 3. Skyscraper, I do think, could have another sort of result that we've seen here in these first 2 maps where it does go a little bit one-sided.
Yeah, ultimately, if you're the picking team, it's almost not a good idea to pick Skyscraper because then your opponent can pick defense. So, you have to be strategic about the pick. So I think, realistically, we'll probably see Factory 2-1. It is going to be Factory. So good call there from Nightfire. Again, statistics, you can't base a decision entirely off of statistics, which is why being a breacher's connoisseur is a difficult a difficult role there, because if you go off of numbers alone, you can have an Indomitable versus F3 situation where you see a massive upset and then everybody's connoisseur history was ruined. So we see, we could see Aspect, take out Indomitable and secure a win here, but we could see Indomitable upset once again. If they take out Aspect, I dare say that would probably be the biggest upset we've seen so far in this season.
They would be certainly known as the upset kings at that point, as well as they would be a team that has a true track record of doing it multiple times against high-tiered squads. I would dare say that there would be a narrative created where they would be the threat to Acer, as a team that can maybe upset Acer, because that would be a big upset. Even if Indomitable win here, even after a win here, it would still be an upset if they managed to beat Acer because of how good Acer has been playing too. So there's tiers to climbing the ladder, and so far Indomitable is trying to climb that ladder here in the final weeks of the season. Ultimately, a loss to Aspect isn't going to sting too hard, especially with how close the series has been, but they don't want to have one right now in week 12.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's ironic because Aspect are what I originally called the giant killer here. We see just taking out Dan Katana. They took out a lot of really tough teams here. So if they get beaten by Indomitable, that would certainly be a twist of fate. We see Dr. Turk picking up a kill on Solo, but will get refried by Jess. This is now a 4 versus 3. Rabbit on 2 health right here And this isn't the best start for Indo. They're a player down, and Faded is getting that EMP planted. There's the Incendiary as Brabadabado looks to swing. Crimson finding the kill on Jess. Great roaming here. Gizmo looks to find the kill, but and does secure the kill on Crimson, but on 1 health is Brabadabado finding Faded. It's now a 2 versus 2. Brabadabado will go down to I Blame I Am. It's just down to Frostbite right now. Who's pushing out, finds the kill on Gizmo. It could go either way right now as we see I Blame out on gravel. Frostbite looks to bait out the EMP. I Blame is going to have to make a move here. Looking for Frostbite, but I Blame will take out Frostbite. It looked like Frostbite might actually secure the kill on I Blame. No such luck for Indo.
Whew. I mean, hey, if there was ever a way to start off map 3 on the pistol round on the Great Equalizer, it's Factory and it's a 1v1 on the first objective of the series. It is going to be an exciting one, I think, if that's any indicator. And look at the commitment from Aspect. Final map, no holding back, 4 rifle buy in round 2.
Again, double-edged sword here. If
on
they
attack?
lose one of those Vezin players, yeah, I mean, if they lose one of those Vezin players, and they can recover one on Indomitable, they can do a lot of damage, and they could potentially turn this on Aspect very quickly. So as long as they're careful with their push, I don't imagine Aspect will have too much trouble because they are going up against an ecoing team. But Indomitable have surprised everybody tonight. Let's see if they can surprise us yet again as we see Solo right outside of Orange Vendings along with Gizmo. There goes the hatch onto storage as Jess just droning things out. 2 minutes 50 on the clock as Gizmo and Solo now making their way into lockers, which has just been droned out by Jess. That drone moving into Site B right now where Crimson was raiding. They tried tossing a frag in. That tags Crimson a little bit, but ultimately won't find the kill.
They're already inside Site. Plant coming down. The plant alone's a nice bit of cash into their pocket. That Incendiary not close enough into the corner. Gizmo's somehow alive as they tuck in here with the Cyclone. The push is coming in from Indomitable on the retake, and it is somewhat successful. It's found several kills, several people very low on health on the Aspect side as they all try and retreat and get back into cover to defend this objective. Everyone goes down on Indomitable except for Dr. Turt. And if they could just connect a couple of their bullets together, they'd find several kills that would put them into a 1v2.
Yeah, I mean, we see Faded is way overextended here trying to find Dr. Turt, which can be pretty dangerous for Aspect. You know, I'd say right now they're trying to plug as many holes as they can, keeping their low health players out of danger, because really they bought 4 Vezins. They should not be losing any of those Vezins. You know, if they did lose one of those, it would be a pretty big loss of an advantage. But Solo finding the kill on Dr. Turt, and here we see a perfect example of this big commitment paying off. Sometimes it doesn't, but when it does pay off, it puts a team like Aspect into a really, really good spot moving into this round. You know, Indomitable are going to try and full buy. They won't be able to field 5 Vezins. They will be only able to get 3, so could go either way, but Aspect definitely have a bit of an advantage right now, I'd say.
It is, well, impressive that Indo did almost bring down that packed Aspect team. There was 2 players at 1 HP. Okay, that investment and that risk almost didn't pay off. They almost lost 2 rifles, you know, on that big buy round. So it almost was Indomitable taking a round there. Again, close fight from this Indo squad so far in this series. And, I mean, both of these teams really putting on a show this afternoon, Gib. Aspect and Indomitable have come to play. It's week 12. They're top-tier teams in the VRML. It's what you expect out of the VRML. It's what we're looking forward to all season long. We're getting the action delivered straight to our doorstep as Gizmo opens things up with a kill, and Crimson says, I want some of the action, finds the kill themselves. Solo with the refrag, and things take a pause as we're into a 4v3.
Yeah, Aspect looking to push in on the orange half of the map. The EMP is down right outside of orange hallways. We see Dan Katana just standing up on, in upper orange. Storage, look at this, though. I blame my aim. And Jess on that flank there. Brabadabado looking for some shots now behind the big blue box. Will swing out, but I blame my aim. Finding that kill first, and it's now a 2 versus 4. And really, Indo got very caught out here. Frostbite is looking the completely wrong way. Secures the kill on Solo. The double on Faded. What incredible patience by Frostbite, who looks to pick up a 3rd kill, but Jess will find that instead. It's now just down to Dan Katana, who's got a 1v2 this against I Blame My Aim and Jess. 2 minutes left on the clock now, as Dan Katana really has their work cut out for them here. That's a good point. They didn't secure the EMP, so really, Dan Katana could just bide their time as long as they don't hear that EMP being planted. Dan Katana doesn't really need to push. Now, Aspect are going to try and secure that EMP, try and recover it. But that's definitely hurt their push here because they didn't have the EMP. They can't force Dan Katana to make a move. Jess just pre-firing in orange storage and will secure the kill on Dan Katana to give Aspect their 3rd round in a row. Not good for Indo as they're low on money and they aren't able to afford Vezins this round. Well, Dan Katana will be able to. Rabadabado will be able to. But it's 2 Vezins against 5 Vezins, and not to mention Aspect has a lot of money to play around with.
These teams very clearly capable of, and if not favoring, the snowball effect, as we call it, where you really get the ball rolling and keep it rolling. You invest big and keep the investments coming, and Aspect are definitely snowballing here on the first half of map number 3. I do think it's very side-based on Factory. Actually, I suppose Factory of all the maps less side-based than anything, and so maybe a chance for ID to fight back, put up a couple of defensive rounds, find some kills here, do a little bit of economic damage. It's going to be, again, coming down to those 5-6 rounds where that consecutive cash loss bonus impacts the economy enough where Indomitable can invest. So, stuff that we know already. It's just a matter of time, and this round is really just Indomitable hoping they can make some magic happen.
Here comes the breach onto the storage hatch. Indomitable are going to need to pick up around here pretty soon. They got to do some damage to Aspect. We see a frag toss into blue hallway. Gizmo just looking for an Indo player. Here comes Gizmo and Solo into blue hallway. I blame my aim, dropping down the storage hatch. Rabadabado is over in lockers right now. Dan Katana moving in as Crimson finding the kill on Jess. Good start for Indo as we do see I Blame down to 30, Solo down to 54 as Brabadabado will find the kill on Gizmo. It's a 5 versus 3. This could be what Indo needed. They just need at least 1 round to prevent the lockout. Solo is even lower on health, but will get a heal off just rotating outside. Look at this. Indo know they have the EMP in orange vendings. Crimson just waiting at that door for somebody to make a move there. Brabadabado, with Crimson as well. Solo with that cloaking device might find a kill on Brabadabado if they're not careful. Dr. Tur taking out I Blame My Aim, and this is an excellent round from Indo. And really, at this point, they're going to try and salvage as much as they can off of Aspect. As we see Faded just playing that storage hatch, and I think at this point, Aspect realizes they need to salvage.
Yeah, this is a big, big round from Indo. They've taken 3 rifles out of the hands of Aspect. Their team going from 0 to hero as another goes down. Frostbite catching a headshot onto Faded. Solo is now solo, a theme we've seen come true throughout the course of this series, and maybe it's why that's in their name, but they are alone, and it's going to be Indomitable taking a point with the eco. Another minute left on the clock before the round ends, but I don't imagine Solo is going to do a whole lot, and ID, well, the first half is not by any means in Aspect's control anymore. ID really do have the ball in their court if they can when they take this round. And, what's the economy for Aspect? I suppose it's okay. 3 wins in a row puts them in a safe spot. They should be able to invest big into the next round as well. But we're going to see fully kitted squads on both sides going into round 4, and a real chance for Indomitable to tie this first half up, which is kind of what I was thinking in the back of my head, Gib. I didn't want to say it, but I'm like, there's a real, I feel like we're going to go 3, like, now that we're into the third map, we've gone these, we've traded match 7-1. Now we're going to get the 3-3. Now we're going to get the 6-6. And I suppose that could be a real reality. If they tie this final map, it's a tied series across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Indomitable, they are going to fight, like there's no tomorrow here. They don't want to lose this. They've come so far. It looked like in the first map, it was going to be a really decisive battle for Aspect. And on map 2, I think Indomitable really just realized we can do this. We can actually win against this top team. If we have the plays here, if we can find, their weakness and right here, I mean, you can see they just flipped the switch.
Yeah.
They committed to a play here, a good defense, and they found that success. And this could be, the catalyst to them bringing it back in this first half. Again, like you said, they could tie it up heading into the second half, which would be very, very big for Indomitable if they can prevent Aspect from getting any more rounds over them. I mean, if we go into the second half on an even slate between these two teams, there's really no telling what could happen. It really could be anybody's game at that point. And to your point, I mean, we could see a tie here, which would be, quite a dramatic finish to this match, which has already been very, very interesting to watch.
Hope the folks at home are enjoying it. And if you are, hit that thumbs up button. Share the stream with everyone. The game is really at the peak right now. It's been an exciting map 1 and 2, but this third map is where it's at. It's delivering so far on our first half. And Gizmo finds Bravo Devato getting very aggressive, pushing out of the doorway on the bottom floor, looking for a little bit of kills on this, trying to catch Gizmo on the side there. And look at how quickly they toss that health syringe. Beautifully executed. Gizmo quickly back to full health and continues their coverage on the outside wall. Solo scoops up a kill, and inside A site alone will die.
They have the EMP in the middle of site A. Is Crimson picking up a kill on I Blame I Am. It's now a 3 versus 3. It's Gizmo taking out 1, taking out 2, finding Dan Katana with that frag grenade. Dr. Turret alone in the server room has to defend against 3 Aspect players. It looked like it might go Indo's way, but Faded finding the kill on Dr. Turret, and really Gizmo there making an incredible play, taking out 2 and really kind of pushing Aspect to victory there.
That was certainly interesting. That was a great nade toss, and then the double, like you said, that double kill from Gizmo. That definitely just opens things up. What a so risky coming in, diving down with the EMP alone. Solo living true to the name. Either they're the last one alive or the first to die, so it seems, as they do dive in there and again almost throw the EMP to their to their opponents. But that's hard. It's hard to read. We see a giant, EMP over it because it's good for the spectator to know where it is. They don't get that indicator in game. They're not seeing EMP over the EMP buried underneath a body and rifles and utility while you're getting shot at and grenades are exploding around you and there's smoke. It's hard to identify that the EMP is down when you are on the defense. So not to discredit that they should have read that or anything and defended, but a real opportunity that ultimately maybe doesn't even get recognized by Indomitable at the end of the day. And Aspect do just hang on to their lead. 4-1 going into the last round of this first half. A full buy from both sides again.
I think another really good point to make is how fast Aspect responded. They see when the EMP is down, so they knew that the EMP player went down in the middle of the site, and they figured, we've got to go, we've got to make plays now, and they pushed in. They did an excellent job. Frostbite looking to push up to the door, trying to find somebody, but doesn't quite find it. Dr. Turret taking out I Blame My Aim, as Gizmo will be tagged a little bit by that frag, so Frostbite knows somebody is there. Faded watching the crossfire as Gizmo is going to rotate out into assembly. Crimson finding a very nice kill on Solo. It's a 5 versus 3. best case for Indo right now is to go into the second half with 4-2. They can't tie it up anymore.
Oh!
They can certainly get close, but Faded dropping 2. That was a collateral. What an incredible swing by Faded, who's just even the odds for Aspect, and that could be devastating to Indo right there as we see Frostbite rotating back over into Site B. Brabadabado, the connector player for Indo. We see Faded moving into orange storage. There's a trip mine right there, which actually could kill Faded if they're not careful. There's the 2-prong, one from Electrical, the other from Orange Hallways. Dr. Turp finding the kill on Jess, and it's now a 2 versus 3. Brabadabado is going to be forced back into that connector. What a great instant toss. Gizmo finding the kill on Dr. Turp. It's now a 2 versus 2 as Gizmo pushing in. Faded along with Gizmo, who's trying to get that EMP planted right now. A minute 15 left on the clock. There's the EMP. It's been planted. Brabadabado finding the kill on Faded. Gizmo's now got a 1v2. This is the EMP is slowly ticking down, and Frostbite finding the kill on Gizmo. That's going to give Indomitable a 4-2 game heading into the second half. And really, I mean, we'll see what kind of offense Indo can put up here. If they have a better offense than a defense on Factory, I'm very curious. Could we see Indomitable win this final map?
Yeah, we will have to see. Indomitable. Man, they are fighting for a chance back into this series here. It is map 3. It is delivering. VRML, it's what we do. We put on a good show. The action here is what I'd expect out of a week 12. It's exactly what happens with how the season formula works, with how the matchmaking system works, and I love to see it work in the way that it does. So, I think Indomitable really are going to fight here as we do get into a reset, a fresh half, pistol rounds. Taurus coming in from Dan. They're still feeling confident. They found multi-kills with that. If they can open up this pistol set strong, then maybe they can put on a good show on offense. But Aspect, just 3 away from locking in a series win and maybe even getting pushed up into that first place spot. Who knows how Acer and Eternity's going right now, because they're playing first and fifth place this very moment while these two teams are battling it out as well.
We see Brabadabado currently up on the roof right now with the drone, but that was taken out. Solo is teamed up on by Frostbite and Dr. Turk. Great teamwork there. Solo taken out 2 with a trip mine. Incredible is Faded finding Dr. Turk.
Oh!
Frostbite will refrag with 2. What is happening here? It's now down to a 2 versus 2. I blame and Gizmo against Frostbite and Brabadabado, and wow, Frostbite has put in a tremendous effort on this round. We see I Blame over in lockers right now. May run into Brabadabado, but we see I Blame is about to get swung. Does take out Frostbite, but Brabadabado will secure the kill on I Blame. I Aim is now just down to Gizmo versus Brabadabado. It is a fight between lockers, between these two players. It's really a battle of swing or get swung. Brabadabado does not have the EMP.
Wow.
Looking to find some shots on Gizmo, who instead finds some shots on Brabadabado, who's now down to 68 health. 2 minutes left on the clock as Brabadabado is getting ready to swing onto Gizmo, switching out for the Cyclone. They're trying to pre-fire Gizmo, going for the reload, pressing that attack as Gizmo rotating back over to Blue Venice. Is just playing this very, very well, and it's starting to be frustrating for Brabadabado, who pushes up into Site B. It's so important that Indomitable wins this round and sets the pace for the second half here, but Brabadabado is going to get tagged in, trying to get that EMP down as Gizmo looking to rotate back over. Brabadabado trying to get that EMP planted and will get it down as Gizmo now over into Connector, and it's just this 1v1 between these two players. This is so important for both teams as Brabadabado behind that bomb right now. Look at this peek, aiming in between the bomb and may find Gizmo. Oh yeah, the doorway there is Gizmo getting ready to peek. Brabadabado will just move the right way. Oh, Gizmo finding the kill on Brabadabado. And Aspect are going to claim their 5th round. That's got to be frustrating for Indomitable. They no longer have any margin of error. If they lose this next round, Aspect are going to put them on match point.
A big round still for Indomitable to get the kills they got and the EMP plan. It means that they're going to be in an okay position the round after this. Right now, they're going to go up against a better kitted Aspect squad, but not necessarily way better, because they all died and because there was the exchange of these kills down to the 1v1. Aspect isn't exactly loaded with cash on their side, so there's going to be only a rifle and a Canut coming in on Aspect, and in comparison, Indomitable investing into a Viper. So, you know, almost an equivalent in weapons coming through, you know, to some degrees in this next round here, just because of how close it came in that pistol start. Means that the round after this going to be a full buy for both squads, really, no matter where we go with who wins or loses. And we really are into a great, I mean, I know I said it a couple of times already, but these two teams are fighting this afternoon, and it's really fun for us to tune into. Here comes round number 5, 6, 7, 8 as ID opens up some windows and looks to be setting up around B.
And here we have Indomitable getting ready to push in over towards the orange side of the map once again. Now, the Vezin player for Aspect is Solo, who's playing very, very close to the site, not getting too antsy here, and that's really the best play for Aspect right now. They keep that Vezin player alive for long enough, and really towards the end of the round, it can make a huge, huge difference. Indomitable can't lose this round if they want to win this game. If they do lose this, the best case scenario for them would be to tie it up. It got so close on that pistol round, and really, if they want to find, you know, the momentum and potentially go for victory, they need to win this round. This is probably the best chance they'll have for a little while here, because Solo, the only Vezin player alive on Aspect right now. It's just Spectrals and then a Canut from Gizmo. And really, the Canut could do a lot of damage as well, because Gizmo's pretty crafty with that Canut. So we can see what will happen here. It looks like it might be a push. Well, it looks like it might be a push onto Site A through that orange hallway wall. But I don't see any breaching foam. There it is. Frostbite getting that on the walls. It looks like Indomitable getting ready to push in on Site A. We see Dan Katana just watching that angle into orange storage, waiting for an Aspect player to make their move. Minute 15 left on the clock. Indomitable have used a lot of time in this match. They're going to need to make a move here pretty soon, as we see iBlame just in the back of Site A up on the boxes, has a pretty solid angle if they decide to do that two-prong through electrical. There's less than a minute on the clock. Indomitable still have yet to make a move. What are they doing? As we see 50 seconds. And time is going to expire before you know it. Crimson drilling the door blocker. Solo getting ready to push out, but Indomitable will take out Solo. They secure the Vezin. Oh no, Solo really overextended here. Is just in workshop right now. There's the two-prong. Gizmo pushing out. Doesn't secure a kill with that. Cannot iBlame finding the kill on Frostbite. It's Indomitable will find the kill on Gizmo. It's now a 4 versus 3. Indomitable taking out iBlame My Aim as the EMP is going down, just looking to push up, finding those kills, no! Taking out 3. It's now a 2 versus 1. It's just out of Dan Katana. They weren't watching the flag. No. Yes, taking out Dan Katana saves Aspect. I think that was 4 kills from Jess there. An incredible clutch from Aspect to give them match point of this third map.
Jess comes barreling out of the smoke and devastates that offense, shuts them down where they were thriving, and maybe there's the value in a defensive smoke right there, enabling you to get close enough to your opponent where that Vezin close quarters, you know, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimeys goes on, and somehow the pistol finds 3 out of the smoke. The Vezin goes away. It gets actually carried through to the round, so Aspect hang on to their investment, fortunately enough for them. And we go into series point for Aspect. And like you said, the best Indomitable can do now is tie this thing up, which isn't a bad scenario for them. It's ultimately something they are hunting for still. So not to say that anything, any pressure is off the Indomitable squad at this stage. They still got to battle hard for this series tie because that's what they want. They want to minimize damage done. They do not want a loss here. And at least to their credit, it won't be a big loss because they fought hard in map 2. But they do not want to go down 7-2. A few more points on the board at least is what's in order for this Indomitable team. But it is not going to be an easy task. No round has been easy for either squad. It has been a brawl all the way down. As we take a quick gander at the scoreboards while these teams do some analyzing and assessment of this upper floor. It's a hearty amount of kills. Nobody in the double digits yet, though, interestingly enough.
It's really been a team game here. I mean, you know, it's come down to these teams and you know, individual players working together, you know, cohesively. That's how these teams are playing as well as they are. And really, Gizmo's trapped up here as Dr. Turt will find the kill on Gizmo. And really, I mean, Indomitable are doing an excellent job. I mean, they are, again, like Nightfire said, it hasn't been easy for either team. They did find Crimson with a tremendous frag. And you know, the death on both sides has really limited the amount of eco that each team has. So it's coming down to whoever loses this round is going to be on a force eco, save for Gizmo, who will be able to afford that vest. And we see foam on the kitchen hatch is faded just on top of the recycling bins at the moment. Minute and a half left on the clock as Indomitable getting ready to make their move. They're trying these delayed pushes. It almost worked last round. Will it work again?
It's all about trying to throw your opponent's timing off, kind of disrupt them as you push in. And it's, well, there's a nice nade that does open things up. A nice early kill. They get rid of the static emitter. The plant is available, and it should be coming in soon. Jess and Solo are here and ready to spring the trap, though, as the smoke comes up. The push comes through. A nade countered onto the corner, and it's a beautiful nade that catches a double. The final player alive on Indomitable's squad has to clutch this up. It's Dan Katana. They found triple kills before, and it's a 1v3 staring them down the barrel of their Vezin. Solo, Jess, everyone at home on a site, and Solo almost has the angle onto Dan Katana. I Blame doesn't want to peek out. They fortunately don't have that breached wall to push through, but doesn't matter. They shoot through the wall. Jess connects with the kill, and Aspect take their series win 7-2 on map 3. But what a hard fight from the Indomitable squad.
I mean, you know, in the end there, it came down to execution, and Aspect did a phenomenal job with that site retake. I mean, you saw Indomitable pushing down in there. They dropped 3. And just the patience from Jess once again to toss that frag in there at the perfect time, catching 3 Indo players. And I mean, it was it's 7-2 is what I'm trying to say. But I mean, each round was incredibly close. It came down to the wire every single round. So Indomitable not going to walk away with the win, but they certainly put up a very solid fight against Aspect. Keep in mind, Aspect, the number 2 team in North America right now. So to have a game that's this close against Aspect really says something about Indomitable. They beat Formula 3. They beat Infinity. I saw that in the chat. So, I mean, they are a very, very solid team, and they put up a tremendous battle tonight. But ultimately, congratulations to Aspect, who played a tremendous game of Breachers tonight.
Congratulations indeed, and a shout out to everyone tuning in and enjoying the action here. A hearty crowd stopping by for arguably a great almost end of season matchup. We are not there yet. We've got another week left. We got a weekend left as well. So keep your eyes peeled for games live on YouTube this weekend, and obviously the final week next week of the season. We will then have, as a reminder, the postseason that starts in January. Every weekend of January packed with tournament gameplay that is going to be delivered to you across multiple channels. You do not want to miss that action. So do get your calendars ready for the January weekends when you come back from a hearty vacation and a nice new year. It's going to be a great way to kick off the new year, Bob, and it's something we got to start looking forward to because it is just around the corner. Postseason is almost here.
I'm really excited for the postseason. We had so many people show up to watch it. the last time, because it is a really, really solid event that we have. We got the Challenger Cup coming up too, so a lot of really excited, a lot of really exciting stuff planned for January. We got the podcast that we're working on over here. We've got team interviews that we're doing. So even in the postseason, we're still going to be cranking out the content over here at the VRML, because we're always on the grind over here.
We love to do it, and we want to see this community thrive and grow. It's the passion from the community that fuels us here on the VRML team, and so we really do appreciate all of the support that does come in. It's why you do see the top donators to the YouTube channel ticking across the bottom of the screen, and obviously all of the games that have been played, as there is a lot of matches getting played out with over 100 teams still participating in this Season 1. We're going to take a break, a break until this weekend, but that'll be it for us here this afternoon on the casting desk. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster Gibular Bob, and until next time, stay classy. VRML